Hey there, it's James with idealrc.com here for another installment of our tech series. Today we're looking at our SC10. This truck's slightly modified. Had a little bit of a problem with it. Blew out something in the transmission. So we've got some new parts here. Associated idle gear. And an MIP diff for an associated truck. Or something that you can get for a T4. It's a ball diff, and we'll go a little bit more into that as we get into this project. So let's get our tranny torn out of this vehicle, and we'll take a look inside, see what's blown up, and see if we can fix this and get it on the road. Okay, so we've got our transmission all torn apart. You can see here's our culprit, bad gear. We've got a gear to replace that with. Got an existing ball diff in this vehicle, no damage to it. It's got a metal gear, heavy duty outdrives on it, so we'll just clean that, reinstall it. One thing you may want to note, it's in all these little grooves of the gear here, you may have little shards of plastic from that blown up gear. You're going to want to take a small hobby knife like this and clean those out. Make sure you don't have anything in there. Grease this up, reassemble it, you should be ready to go. Feature that we wanted to talk about with these ball diffs is this is essentially a set of bearings in here that ride between two plates that allow this to differentiate. Now this is a little bit different than your standard spider diff. These are very typical in the T4 vehicles and older 1/10 trucks. The newer vehicles like the Slash runs a planetary gear. The Blitz and the SC10 from the factory run a spider gear setup, which won't really allow you to adjust how loose or tight the diff is running. So depending on the surface of the ground you're running on, you may run into a scenario where you're getting a one tire spin, which could be a bad thing. It's a loss of traction, or if you have it set too tight, you're having the wheels drive together too much, which could also be a bad scenario for handling. So this will allow you to adjust how loose or how tight your diff is. Some vehicles will allow you to adjust the tightness or the looseness of the diff via a viscous method, which would be through different weight oils that you run in the spider gears to slow them down. Essentially, the tighter you want it, you'd put like a molasses type oil in there, something very heavy. If you feel that you need a much more loose diff, then you'd run a lighter oil. Comes much more into play on the four-wheel drive vehicles that have a center diff in them, and that center diff is going to determine how loose or tight the truck is, if it's going to be more front-wheel drive bias or rear-wheel drive bias. So this one's in good shape. We're going to throw it back in the truck, grease it up a little bit, and it'll be ready to run. Okay, so we've got all of our gears cleaned up, all reassembled inside the tranny. Want to make sure that they spin nicely together. There's no little chunks inside the transmission from the gear that got exploded in here. Put a little bit of grease in this and install it back in the truck, and you're ready to run. So hope that shows you a little bit about what's inside one of these transmissions. This is an associated transmission. Often referred to as a stealth tranny. They run fairly quiet, they're very smooth. Good running trannies. Okay, so we got our transmission all reinstalled back in our vehicle. Throw our motor and ESC and everything back in it. She's ready to run. On this particular vehicle, we've been experimenting with a few things. We've done a B4 conversion on the back of this truck, so it's a little bit narrow in the back. Allows us to run this wide offset wheel with a full width 2.2 tire, and it fits underneath the body. We're also working with a long travel kit on the front of this vehicle, and also a hex conversion in the front. You can look up more information on the front hex conversion using HPI Blitz parts or HPI Firestorm parts on the front end of an SC10 to run hexes. You can also use the Proline kit, which has just been released. Parts availability might not be that great on it, so if you're pretty rough on your truck, you may want to second guess that. But HPI Blitz parts are readily available and fairly easy kit to install. There's an article on my blog at idealrc.com, and if you have any questions about it, just leave us an email and we'll answer anything that you've got. Second item we're going to talk about today is motors for your scale rock crawlers. Got three choices of motors that are fairly popular here. This is a Holmes 35 turn. You can also get these from Entergy, and also Novak used to make a version from 55 turns all the way up to 85 turns, drop down in the 45 turn range, and these provide really good smooth torque on the low end. On a 3-cell battery, they're going to give you a lot of punch. Another motor that seems to be fairly popular, it's the same motor I'm running, it's a Traxxas. This is an Emax motor. It's a 550 can. These come in a 21 and 23 turn motor. These things are around $20. You can't beat them. They love water. They're cheap enough that when it blows up, you just throw it out. You can't replace the brushes. You can't time it. But for a scaler, it runs really, really well. This is my bet for my truck that I run. I was running the 35 turn. I've now gone back to the Emax motor. Like I said, they're really inexpensive. They got good turn rate, so there's lots of wheel speed. They still produce really good torque. They like water. Just a really good, durable, cheap little motor. And the third thing we've got here is the Axial, the 27 turn. This comes stock in all of their ready to run vehicles. These do pretty well out of the box. If you want to keep your vehicle absolutely stock, this thing's probably going to do very well for you. Doesn't quite produce some of the torque that I'd like to see for most scalers. But these are just a few motor choices. Let me know what you're running. Love to hear about it, what your setup is. These Emax motors, like I said, they're doing really well. And we've actually got a guy that runs around with us that runs these things on 4 cells, and it does it all day. So this is my choice for motors. What's yours? Okay, so other projects that we've got going on in the shop, we've got this frame that we just primed up. This is Nabil Jamali's truck. This is an FJ Cruiser for a scaler. It's a little bit different platform that we're using for this. It's running all Losi running gear. This actually has a Losi comp tranny that goes in it, so it's got front and rear dig. We did some testing with it, got it all torn apart. Now we're in the finishing stages, so you're going to get to see this get put together here in the next few weeks, and we're going to do a really cool running vid for this vehicle, so look out for it. It's a really sweet truck, 2.2 based, running a set of TSLs on it. Like I said, this thing crawls really well. We're going to get it all painted up, and you'll get to check it out. Okay, so back to our little mini e-Revo project. We've got a brand new body for this. This is a J Concepts Illusion body. We're going to get this cut out and set on the truck. We're actually going to have this sent out and have a custom paint job done on this. Pretty cool looking little body, a little bit different look. When you go through the paint process on any of these Lexan bodies, it's probably a good idea to actually cut out the whole body, punch all of your holes where your antenna needs to go, all of your provisions, so that you can pretty much drive your car with one of these clear on it and then paint it. That way you don't run into any problems where you may have missed a hole that you need to put in the body. It's pretty difficult to do that once it's painted. So we're going to get this all cut out and show you what it's going to look like on the truck, and then we're going to have it sent out for a custom paint job. Okay, so there we have it. This body's all cut out, set on the vehicle. We can pretty much drive this thing with it clear. A couple items that you're probably going to want to pick up if you're going to do any bodies is a body reamer like this. This is a pretty high quality one from XTM. It's got aluminum billet handle that stows the actual spade. These are definitely handy to have, regardless if you're doing bodies or whatever. Another good thing you're going to want to pick up is a pair of curved Lexan scissors. You actually see the blade is curved there. These are also a pair of XTM These are made by several different companies. Racer's Edge, Axial, they all have their own version of this. You can pick up a combo kit with the two of them. Both of these in a package from Debro. They're not the highest quality, but to get you started, they're going to work just fine. So, there we go. On to some more. Okay, so our side note movie for this episode is Sex Drive. This is the unrated version. This thing is freaking classic. If you want a good laugh, man, this is the way to go. All I gotta say is I've got something yummy for your little girl. That's all you need to know. Watch it, enjoy it. If you do have little kids or little girls, probably not a great idea to watch it with them. Pretty funny movie just to watch when you're in your shop, though. On that note, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave us a comment or pop by our website, idealrc.com, and leave us an email, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you've got. Thanks for watching.